So this is how my first packaging started. Anybody that uses shipping and supplies, Uline, they're all over the US. You get the things next day. So this was the bag that they come like this. So you have to open every single bag, and I would put the cookie inside, and I have PTSD over doing this because I think I had these two raw fingers for a good solid 2 years. And then I would put a sticker on it. And at first I would have just like a blank sticker that said my cookie dealer, and it was actually my husband's face. That was the logo of it. And I used to handwrite every single flavor, but I thought, wow, this was like, I'm big time because I had the sticker, then I had a space that would write it. And then as I'm making more and more cookies, I'm like, this is insane. I'm handwriting every single flavor on every single bag. As I started doing flavors, I was then printing. It is so funny. I was printing off of my household printer, right? And it was on return address labels that you would use on a letter. And then I would use the sticker because that looked way professional. And then I would put the label on top that I printed. And I thought that was just so great because it was so clean and it wasn't just my handwriting, and how quickly then that had to pivot into making and buying a machine of film. So this is called film. Things that I had no business knowing anything about this. This was not my background. This is nothing I knew anything about, and learning all of the terminology and everything that goes along with it. So when I was starting to look into machinery and these kind of things, these people are asking me questions and using, every field has their own like terminology and acronyms, and you just have to figure it out of what all of this is. Now I'm telling you, I would be like leaps and bounds with ChatGPT, because all of the things that took me so much longer to figure out along the way, I don't know, ChatGPT and Google, sometimes I always think, does it make people dumber? Or I don't know, because we have so much more information now, but it just seems like people just know less. I don't know. For me, I love to be able to get all of the information and be able to really dive into that. So finding out what thickness I need. So going from a bag to the film, I'm sitting there with a ruler trying to figure it out, because they're asking me, well, what size bags do you need? What kind of plastic? What kind of thing? So the first machine that I bought, I needed to be able to buy the film to go on it, to test roll it. And it was just such a crazy process. And going through, I'm sure I wasted money and time and a lot of different things, but like I've always said, it's never a negative. To do things wrong will only get you to the right. People want to fail when it's wrong, and they don't want to hear like, it took me this amount of time to get to that, but that was the reality. I didn't have somebody in-house, giving me the specs and giving me the ways that I had to do it. We figured it out. And so that was our first, for the real people that remember, it was Juan's face at the top. And I have a machine on my printer. It's a printer on my machine, and that's how I would put the flavor name. So, I mean, I was big time. I was getting this done with the printer on it, so I wasn't handwriting anything. It was a wild time. And then we had moved to doing the shelf-stable cookies. And again, that was a whole nother thing, because when I make these are not meant to last for long periods of time. Just like anything else, when you don't want sunlight to go into it and these kind of things, but I want you to be able to see what you're getting from us. Whereas like our products like this, we had to work on the film being different, and it has metal inside, learning why we do this to keep the longevity of the product, so that light doesn't go into it. It's just so wild to turn from this bag that I was the bee's knees when I was printing labels onto that. That was just crazy. To now mass producing tens of thousands of these in a day, and getting them to our consumers all over the world. It's still my product. It's still made by us. It's still manufactured here. And you guys are gonna get me on this, in Long Island, on Long Island, whatever you guys say. I think you say it's on Long Island. You live in the city, you live on Long Island, you don't live in Long Island, but whatever. Long Island is where we're making this, and I still, from the same place that I was making those half-pound drop cookies, I'm still doing those, but I'm also manufacturing this crazy, crazy thing of all different products that you're seeing. And along the way, like I said, figuring out as we make new products and different size products, how the film rolls onto it. Just being able to figure out how machinery works, all of those things. I am very blessed. My dad, although he's no longer with us, was a mechanical engineer. He made machines that make machines. He was one of the smartest people, and I think I get a lot of why I need to figure things out. If you ever ask my dad a question and he didn't know the answer, I promise you the next week he has already went to the library and took out every book and is now proficient in whatever it was. And he would always tell me, that person's not smarter than you. They have more knowledge, they have more time doing something, and they have the ability to do those things. They're not smarter than you. You can gain the same amount of information depending on what it was. So that was always, it's just how I was brought up, to always look at things and figure it out. So with anything, it was figuring out the machinery, how to set things up. Okay, like I said, these places are using these terms. Do you want to rewind it this way? Do you want it forward, back? How do you want it printed? I don't know. I don't even know anything that they're saying. So really looking at the machinery, what they're talking about, how the film rolls onto the machine, and is it sealing it top to bottom? Is it sealing it side to side? How is it that the product is coming out? And just along the way, figuring out all of these really there's people that is their job. No, it's my job to do all of it. So doing that in-house has given us so much knowledge, and I'm so thankful, like I said, for all the failures and all of the things that were hard to get us to this place. And anybody that I've talked to along the way of how we've done it, and if people have questions for me, I would love to give the knowledge that I found out, and how to do that. Also with the boxes, it sounds crazy, but like the display boxes, I have like a little anxiety every time I go to a wholesaler, like wholesale club like Costco, BJ, Sam's, right? And you see those corrugated boxes that get thrown, and then you consumer will fill your stuff with it and take it home. That's money. Like everything that you guys are seeing, and I'm looking at stuff so differently now because I'm seeing things and I'm like, wow, that corrugated box has like 3 colors on it. That's expensive. Ooh, that's fancy. Or wow, they spent money on this. And on my side, that, let's say for, I don't know, working at Lacoste, I have that, I could tell you a polo color and style that's just filed away in my head. And it kind of translates to this, that I can look at corrugated boxes and look at it and say, wow, that's really nice material. They really put some effort into how they made that. And, going into places and feeling things and, using that. I know a lot of companies, which I've come from big companies, I've worked for little companies, I've worked, and they will have, they'll go in, okay, well, the consumer will walk in and they always go to the left and they touch things on this side, or this is how people shop. They're more, with anything, more people, I think at one time, were buying yellow houses because it made people happy. So people started painting their houses yellow. All of these things, we don't have a we just kind of say, do you like that? I like that. I like the colors. It makes me feel good. It makes me look at it. So with that, I kind of have my blinders on a little bit, that I try not to look at other brands or other companies. I know when I work with people and they'll say, what do you think of this idea? I said, you can show me ideas from wherever it is, a pair of sneakers or different things, but please, I ask that you'd never show me things from other food, because I don't want to subconsciously think that I'm doing something because I saw somebody else do it. And that's always really, really strong on how I've always been, especially with my flavors and things like that. I think that was a hard time for me when I was always coming up with really fun flavors, seeing other people kind of piggyback on the flavors that I was doing. That was hard, so I really wanted to put those blinders on, and I kind of have done that to my detriment sometimes with like packaging and things. I went through, when we did our packaging, it was very black because that was like my cookie dealer. It was like undertone, tongue-in-cheek, but it wasn't great for the consumer, and we were able to pivot and change that. But learning along the way not to be so, this is just how it is. It's how it is for now. And with anything in life, I think the flourish is, it's good for now, relationships, friendships, business, but are we able to grow with it and really learn from it? Or are you going to be stuck in doing the same thing in the same way? So I really, take all of those things into consideration. And, we do ask people, what do you think of this versus this? And it's important. So what can you see when you look at this product? Is it really clear to you at first that this is apple pie, and that what you're gonna get in it really does look like that? Because I think that's such a letdown too. Like when you open something and it has like all the chocolate chips, and then you open it, it has like 2 chocolate chips on top. That always frustrates me. So I always wanted to make sure that the consumer was really getting what they thought they were purchasing. So I hope from today's video, I got to tell you a little bit about how my packaging started and where it ended, with a little bit about telling you who I am a little bit more and why my brain thinks the way that it does. And I'm really excited for how I think that this conversation is going to start when I start these little videos, and then it kind of goes off on a side quest. But I hope you stay with me for them, and subscribe and comment and tell me what you're looking for.